Imagine you have a very special toy. This toy was made just for you. It even has your name written on it in sparkly letters. Now, imagine that toy goes missing from your house. You look everywhere, but you cannot find it. Then, a few days later, you turn on the television. You see someone you know holding your toy. They are smiling and acting like it belongs to them. You would feel very confused and maybe a little bit sad, right? Well, that is exactly what happened in the world of kings, queens, and very fancy clothes. It is a story about a missing handbag that became a giant problem for Meghan Markle. In the early part of the year 2026, a very special bag was made for a woman named Zara Tindall. This bag was one of a kind. But before Zara could even touch it, the bag vanished. Then something even stranger happened. Less than a week later, Meghan Markle was seen in the city of Paris with that exact same bag on her arm. This was not just a small mistake. It was the start of a very big fight between the royal family and the world of high fashion. People started asking how a bag made for one person ended up with someone else. They wanted to know why the royal palace and the fashion company stayed so quiet. Today, we are going to look at everything that happened. We will see how this one little bag might have caused Meghan to be blocked from the world of fancy clothes forever. In early February 2026, Zara Tindall was getting ready for a very big party. It was a gala for women who are leaders in business. Zara was not just a guest at this party. She was one of the people in charge of it. This was a very big moment for her. For a long time, Zara has worked very hard to be respected. She is a champion in the Olympics for riding horses. She is also a mother and a businesswoman. She is married to a famous rugby player named Mike Tindall. Zara is part of the royal family, but she is different. She does not use a fancy title like princess. She actually said no to having one. Because of this, people really like her. They see her as someone who works hard and stays out of trouble. She does not leak secrets to the newspapers. She does not cause drama. She just does her job and goes home to her family. For this big gala, she wanted something special to wear. She worked with a very famous fashion company called Balenciaga. They agreed to make her a custom handbag. This was not a bag you could just buy at a store. They had many meetings to choose the right materials and the right look. It was a beautiful clutch bag made to look like crocodile skin. It even had her initials hidden on it. It was a symbol of her growing fame in the world of leaders and fashion. The special bag was finished and kept in a safe place in London. It was stored in the Balenciaga showroom. It had Zara's name on it and a specific date for her team to pick it up. Everything was going according to the plan. But then, just a few days before the big party, Zara's team got a very bad phone call. The people at Balenciaga said the bag was gone. They could not find it anywhere. They were very embarrassed and kept saying how sorry they were. They called it a big mistake in their office. They said they were looking for it as fast as they could. Zara was very upset, but she did not start a fight. She was a professional. She went to the big party using a different bag, and she did not tell the newspapers what happened. She stayed calm, and everyone thought the problem was over. But the story was just getting started. A week later, someone working at the Balenciaga office in Paris was looking at pictures. They were looking at photos of famous people at fashion events. They saw something that made them stop and look again. There was Meghan Markle. She was walking into a building in Paris wearing all Balenciaga clothes. But the thing that shocked them was the bag on her arm. It was the exact same bag that was supposed to be Zara's. It even had Zara's initials on it. When the people at the fashion company saw the photo, they were very confused. Meghan Markle was not supposed to have that bag. She was not officially working for the brand. Her name was not on any of their lists for special gifts. Meghan had been at the fashion shows in Paris, but so had thousands of other people. Just showing up to a show does not mean the company is your partner. Now, Balenciaga had a very big problem. They had lost a bag that belonged to Zara Tindall. Zara is a working member of the royal family and a very respected person. And somehow, that very same bag was being carried by Meghan Markle. Meghan had been trying very hard to get a job as an ambassador for the brand. This means she wanted the company to pay her to wear their clothes. But they had not said yes to her yet. The fashion house had to act quickly. They did not make a big announcement, but they did something very serious behind the scenes. They stopped talking to Meghan about her contract. They put everything on ice. In the world of fancy clothes, when a big company stops talking to you, word travels very fast. All the other designers started to hear that something was wrong. Everyone wanted to know how Meghan got the bag in the first place. Did she buy it? Did someone give it to her by mistake? The investigation was very quiet, but it was very intense. This part of the story shows how differently the two women handle problems. When Zara found out that Meghan had her bag, she did not go on social media to complain. She did not call her cousins, Prince William or Princess Catherine, to tell on Meghan. Instead, she did things the right way. She had her secretary send a formal letter to Balenciaga. The letter was very polite. It basically said, "We had a bag reserved. It went missing. Now we see it in public with someone else. Can you tell us how that happened?" This was very smart because it created a paper trail. It forced the company to look for the truth. High-end fashion houses are very careful. They keep records of every single item they make. They know who made it, who touched it, and who signed for it. They couldn't just say they didn't know. They had to find out who took the bag out of the showroom in London. The people at the company started digging through their records. They found out that the bag had been checked out by someone who claimed to be working on brand partnerships. It was a very busy time because of the big fashion week in Paris. In all the noise and chaos, nobody asked enough questions. The person who took the bag had papers that looked real enough. But then the legal team for the fashion company found something even more worrying. They looked at all the times Meghan had worked with them before. They found a pattern that made them very uncomfortable. There were clothes from photo shoots that were never sent back. There were expensive pieces borrowed for parties that were never seen again. People were asking for free things through secret channels instead of the official office. None of this was against the law, but it was not how a professional relationship should work. It made the company feel like they couldn't trust Meghan or her team. There was also a problem with how Meghan was acting in Paris. She was posting things online that made it look like she was a special guest of the brand's main designer. But when the public relations team checked their guest lists, Meghan's name was not there. She was not a VIP. She was not invited to the official events. She had basically just shown up, put on their clothes, and carried Zara's bag to make everyone think she was an official partner. Fashion companies hate when people do this. They want to control who represents their brand. They want to choose their ambassadors very carefully. When someone acts like they have a deal when they don't, it makes the brand look messy. It also makes the real partners feel bad. So, Balenciaga did the smartest thing they could do. They stopped working with Meghan and moved away from her. Zara stayed silent. She didn't say anything at all. This silence was actually very powerful. It showed that she was not bothered by Meghan's games. But Meghan did not take the hint. She tried to change the story, but it did not go well for her. Within one day of the fashion company freezing her contract, Meghan's team put out a fancy video. It was a teaser for a new project called Love with Meghan. The video looked very expensive. It had pretty pictures of her in Paris. It showed close-up shots of her jewelry and her clothes. And yes, it showed the handbag. It showed the bag with Zara's initials on it. People in the royal palace said the video was a way to poke at Zara. They thought the timing was not an accident. Zara was busy doing her royal work, and Meghan was showing off luxury items that didn't belong to her. A person who works in fashion called this a flex. This means she was trying to show off her power and show that she could still get attention. But she didn't realize that the people in the fashion industry talk to each other all the time. The bosses at the big companies, the people who write for magazines, and the designers are all friends. When they heard about the bag, Meghan's reputation was hurt. The video that was supposed to make Meghan look like a big star was actually laughed at in secret. People in the fashion world were sending it to each other and asking if she was serious. They thought it was very bold of her to show a bag she wasn't supposed to have. It made her look like she was trying too hard to be an influencer. Then it got even worse for her. Meghan's team told people that she had been personally invited to the fashion shows. But when reporters asked the company if that was true, the answer was very cold. They just said, Meghan Markle attended the event. Many people attend the event. That was it. They did not say she was a guest. They did not say they liked her. They basically said she was just one person in a crowd of thousands. This was a very mean way of saying they didn't want anything to do with her. Meghan tried to fix this by posting about how people were being mean to her. She hinted that there was a big plan to keep her out of the cool groups. She didn't name the company, but everyone knew who she was talking about. She tried to act like a victim, but people were tired of hearing that story. While Meghan was struggling, Zara Tindall just kept living her life. She went to a big polo event wearing a beautiful white suit by a British designer. She looked amazing and confident. She didn't have to try to make the photos go viral. They just did because she looked so good. People who write about fashion loved her look. They said she looked like a real royal with real class. The difference between the two women was very clear. Meghan was busy making videos and talking about conspiracies. Zara was just showing up to events and doing her job. One magazine editor said that Zara doesn't chase the spotlight. But when Meghan tried to turn the fashion world into a contest, everyone chose Zara's side. And as the world moved towards Zara, Princess Anne was watching everything. Princess Anne is Zara's mother, and she is known for being very tough and very smart. She was about to make a move of her own. In the early part of 2026, Princess Anne decided it was time to do something. She had watched the drama with the handbag and Meghan's desperate videos. Anne does not like to fight in the newspapers. She uses the rules of the royal institution to make her point. She started a review of the whole family. She wanted to make sure that anyone connected to the royal name was following the right rules for business. On paper, it looked like normal office work, but in reality, it was a way to put all of Meghan's business deals under a big magnifying glass. Anne wanted to know how people were using their royal connections to get deals with fashion brands. She wanted to know how they were getting free products. This was her way of being in control without ever having to say Meghan's name in public. An advisor at the palace said this was classic Princess Anne. You won't see her get angry, but you will feel the rules changing around you. Princess Anne also brought back a group of people to help with the royal image. This group had been quiet since Queen Elizabeth died. Their first job was to help Zara and other young royals like Lady Louise. They wanted to show these women as the real faces of the crown. They wanted to show that they are about hard work and dignity. While Meghan was making headlines for scandals, the real royals were being shown as the people the monarchy actually values. Behind closed doors, Anne was very direct. She told her staff that the crown does not fight on social media. She said the crown does not try to be in the news every day. She said the crown simply lasts. She told everyone to just ignore Meghan. She wanted the drama to fall apart on its own while the working royals kept doing their duties. And her plan worked very well. While Meghan was posting cryptic messages, the rest of the family was just working. Zara did her charity events. Princess Catherine returned to public life with grace after being away for her health. The contrast was huge. One side was spinning around trying to control what people thought. The other side was just doing their jobs. This was the beginning of the end for Meghan's fashion dreams. Once the word got out that she was hard to work with, other big companies started to stay away. This is how the fashion world works. They don't make a big scene. They just stop inviting you to things. They stop returning your phone calls. They say, "We will get back to you." But they never do. Chanel had been talking to Meghan about a project, but those talks ended for no reason. Instead, Chanel worked with Zara Tindall on a special collection for horse riders. Zara didn't need a big announcement. She just looked great in the magazine photos. Other big brands like Dior and Burberry also said no to Meghan. A public relations director in France said that Meghan does not represent discretion. Discretion means being careful and quiet. In the world of very expensive things, being quiet is very important. While Meghan's calendar was getting empty, Zara's was getting full. She was asked to co-host big events and be in famous magazines. She didn't have to hire people to find these jobs for her. The jobs found her because she was the real deal. People liked that she was authentic. Authentic means you are being your true self. The fashion industry values that more than anything. Meghan, who had tried for years to be a style icon, was being left behind. Zara, who just wore nice clothes for work, was becoming the person every designer wanted to dress. It wasn't just fashion that was going wrong for Meghan. Her foundation, RQL, was being looked at by the tax office in America. They wanted to know why the money records didn't match the work they were doing. Even her famous friends were starting to move away. Tyler Perry, who had helped her and Prince Harry a lot, reportedly stopped offering his help. Meghan looked more and more alone. Prince Harry was even seen in the UK having private meetings with lawyers for the palace. Meghan's social media became strange. One day she would post nice quotes about being strong. The next day she would post dark hints about secrets she might tell. It was clear she was trying to scare the royal family. She was threatening to leak old messages and emails if she didn't get what she wanted. But she didn't understand that the royal family is not afraid of those things. They have dealt with wars and big changes for hundreds of years. A few text messages are not going to scare them. A former worker for Meghan said that she has always used exposure as her weapon. But this time, nobody was afraid. While Meghan was spiraling, the other women in the royal family were getting closer. They formed a quiet alliance. This was a group of women from different ages who all understood what needed to happen. Lady Louise Windsor, who is usually very private, was seen at Zara's house right after the bag drama started. She was showing Zara that she was on her side. Then Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, invited Zara and Louise to a private event. They didn't invite the cameras. They didn't post on social media. It was a secret meeting to show that the family was staying together. Sophie had watched Meghan for a long time and she had her own opinions. She wanted to show that her loyalty was with Zara. Then there was Princess Catherine. She had been away from the public because of her health. But she made a big return at a gala in February 2026. She made a very important choice for her outfit. She wore a dress that had belonged to Queen Elizabeth back in 1969. The dress was very old and very famous. It was a signal to everyone. It showed that Catherine was about history and legacy. It showed whose side she was on. Catherine and Zara have always respected each other because they both value being quiet and professional. While Meghan was making threats, Catherine let an old dress do all the talking. An aide at the palace said that elegance does not need a microphone. The alliance of these women was not about having meetings to plan a fight. It was a shared feeling. They all knew the best response to Meghan was to be silent and dignified. It worked because it left Meghan fighting all by herself. By the middle of February, everyone could see that the public was starting to like Zara more and Meghan less. Meghan decided to make one last big move. In March 2026, she sent a legal letter to a firm that works with the palace. It was a very complicated letter, but the main point was a threat. She said if people didn't stop saying bad things about her, she would release her private messages with the royal family. The palace didn't even care. Princess Anne said they should just ignore it. And they did. Meghan also didn't realize that her threats made her look bad to the public. Even the people who used to like her were starting to feel uncomfortable. They thought it was mean to threaten to leak private secrets. While Meghan was making these threats, Zara was given a very cool job. She was asked to be a co-host for the Style Pavilion at Royal Ascot. This was a job that Meghan had wanted years ago, but she lost it because of her own behavior. The irony was very strong. When a reporter asked Zara what she thought about Meghan's latest posts online, Zara gave the perfect answer. Meghan had posted a picture of herself wearing an outfit just like one of Zara's with a caption about how real class doesn't need a bloodline. Zara just blinked and said, "Some of us ride horses. Some of us ride headlines. I prefer the horses." Then she walked away. That one sentence was everywhere within a day. It was short and it was very sharp. It showed exactly how she felt without being messy. Even Princess Anne was said to be proud of that answer. It was the kind of thing that makes a person look like a winner. As Meghan's life got harder, one more thing happened that nobody saw coming. Princess Anne wrote a letter. Princess Anne sent a personal letter to Meghan in California. We don't know exactly what it said, but people who know about it say it was very direct. It was not a mean letter, but it was a very serious one. Anne reportedly told Meghan that being a royal is not just about having a title or being famous. It is about how you act when nobody is watching. It is about being steady and doing your duty. The letter was an invitation for Meghan to change her ways. It asked her to choose a path of hard work instead of trying to use her power against others. But Meghan never answered the letter. Soon after, her foundation had more trouble with the law. The investigation by the tax office got more intense. People who used to work for her were being asked to tell the truth in court. This was not the British newspapers causing trouble. This was the American government looking at her money. Back in London, the royal family was making sure they were protected. Prince William told his team to change their rules to make sure the royal name was safe. Princess Catherine told her charities to stay away from anything connected to Meghan's groups. They were quietly untangling themselves from her, so she couldn't cause any more problems for them. When someone asked Zara if she wanted to say anything else about the Meghan situation, she said something very simple. She said, "If you know what you are doing, you don't have to explain what you didn't do." This was her way of saying she didn't have to defend herself because she hadn't done anything wrong. Now, we have to think about this whole story. Do you think Meghan really took that bag on purpose? Or do you think it was just a big mistake by the fashion company? Some people think it was a setup to make Meghan look bad. Others think she was being sneaky to try and look more famous than she is. It is a very complicated mystery. But one thing is for sure, the world of the royals and the world of fashion are very similar. They both care about reputation and trust. Once that trust is gone, it is very hard to get back. Zara Tindall showed the world that you can be powerful by being quiet and working hard. Meghan Markle showed that trying to control everything can sometimes lead to losing everything. It is a lesson that even a queen or a princess has to learn. What do you think about the quiet alliance of the royal women? Do you think they were right to stay silent? Or should they have stood up for Zara more loudly? It seems like their silence was the loudest thing of all. It left Meghan with nothing to fight against. It is like when someone tries to start an argument with you, but you just walk away. They are left standing there looking silly. That is what happened here. The royal family stayed steady like a big old tree, and the storm around them just blew itself out. Meghan is still in California, and the royal family is still in London. The bag is still a mystery, but the message is clear. You cannot fake class and you cannot buy respect. You have to earn it every single day. Thank you for listening to this long and interesting story. It is a tale of fashion, family, and secrets. We hope you enjoyed learning about Zara, Meghan, and the missing handbag. It is a reminder that even people who live in palaces have problems, just like everyone else. If you like this story, please tell us what you think in the comment section below. We love reading your thoughts. Do you think Meghan will ever be part of the fashion world again? Or is she blacklisted forever? Let us know. Remember to like this video and share it with your people. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another story from us. There is another video on your screen right now. If you click it, you will find another amazing story that you will definitely enjoy. See you in the next one. As we wrap up, let's think about the future. Will Harry and Meghan ever come back to the royal house? Or has the bridge been burned too badly? With all the legal letters and the missing items, it seems like the gap is getting wider. But in history, strange things happen all the time. For now, Zara and the rest of the family are moving forward. They are focusing on their work and their kids. They are showing the world what it means to be a modern royal. It is not about the fancy bags or the Paris fashion shows. It is about the service and the heart you put into your work. That is the real lesson of the missing handbag. It wasn't about the leather or the monogram. It was about who had the right to carry the legacy of the family. Zara proved she did. Meghan, sadly, proved she might not be ready for that yet. The world will keep watching them, of course. Every time Meghan wears a new outfit or Zara goes to a new event, people will look for clues. They will look to see if they are talking, or if the silence is still there. That is the life they have chosen. But for us, we can just watch and learn. We can see how important it is to be honest and to treat people with respect. Whether you are a famous royal or a student in 5th grade, those rules are always the same. Treat people how you want to be treated, and always give back what you borrow, especially if it is a custom Balenciaga handbag with someone else's initials on it. That is a very good rule to live by. The story of the handbag is just one chapter in a very long book. There will be more stories tomorrow and the day after. But for today, we can put this mystery to rest. We know the players, we know the moves, and we know the results. Zara is the star of the fashion world, and Meghan is looking for a new way to be seen. It is a fascinating world, and we are glad we could share it with you. Have a great day, and keep looking for the truth in everything you see. The world is full of interesting stories if you just know where to look. We will be here to help you find them. Goodbye for now, and we will see you in the very next video for more royal secrets and fashion mysteries. One last thought before we go. Imagine if you were the designer who made that bag. You spent hours making it perfect for Zara. Then you see it on someone else. You would be so confused. The fashion world is all about the little details, and those little details are what caught Meghan in the end. It wasn't a big mistake, it was a tiny one, just a few letters on a bag. But those letters told the whole truth. It is funny how the smallest things can change everything. That is why it is so important to pay attention. You never know when a little detail will tell a giant story. Okay, now we are really going. Thanks for staying until the end. You are the best part of our channel. See you soon.